Hey there, we are going to be looking at the energy of July 5th, which is a new moon in Cancer. So I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at that energy. We're going to be looking at two main energies that are coming through, which are relating to our physical body, our mental awareness, thinking, and blocks. This new moon is the energy of 20, which relates to the colors of magenta and copper, and the number 2 relating to pale blue and royal blue. And I use the color mirror system to come up with the numbers. That's the system that I'm using in case you're wondering. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that. If you are interested, please stick around. I'm going to be pulling some cards, and we're just going to see what comes up with this new moon in Cancer on July 5th. So welcome in. I'm Heather with Heather's Healing. So we're going to go ahead and start with, let me just say, the whole point in doing this video is, one, just to bring through the energies that I'm feeling, the energies that are coming up related to this new moon. And I'm hoping that you guys can use this information to come up with a ceremony or any kind of way of connecting to this energy to move you forward, to advance your spiritual growth, to connect you to yourself, to spirit, to the planet. So that's kind of my my thinking in doing this video. So, and keep in mind, the biggest theme that was coming up from spirit is what version of you is ready to be released so you can step further into your authentic self. So kind of keep that in mind as a theme as we go through these energies. And I have some notes here, so hopefully I can stay focused and on task. So thanks for being here. So starting with the energy of 20, which is magenta and copper. Now, copper came up in the summer solstice video, and magenta came up in the energy of the year video. So I will put a link to both of those videos below so you can check that out. The energy of copper has been coming up a lot lately. So if you have copper, I have copper cuffs. I've had it on earlier. Obviously, I've taken it off. But, wear copper. Copper helps to move energy through our body. The other thing I'm really picking up with the copper energy is that our bodies might need trace minerals. Maybe we're missing or we're lacking in trace minerals. So that's something to look at as well. So the energy of magenta is all about bridging. It's bridging the spiritual world and the physical world. It's bringing them both together in a really balanced way. So it's a mixture of really getting to the basics of our physical health, taking care of our physical body, but then also balancing our spiritual growth too. And I think it would be really helpful to have a spiritual practice that you do on a regular basis, some way of connecting to your higher self, your higher power, your spirit guides, and bringing all of this together as a way of just being a healthier, happier, balanced person. Being totally physically in our body all the time can be very daunting, but obviously we have bodies for a reason. But then also being really in tune with spirit and disconnected from our bodies that's very ungrounding and also not very productive. So there's a big energy coming in asking us if we can bring those two energies together and balance them. So that's something that is really coming up. And I think one of the biggest reasons why, well, one, we have physical bodies here. That's the vehicle in which our spirit is moving through this journey. So it's important to do our best to take care of our bodies the best that we can, but we also get a lot of our intuition and guidance through our physical body. So the more connected you are to your body, the easier it is going to be to discern messages. So if you know your body and if you know the sensations you normally feel, it's kind of like a car. Like after you've had a car for a while, you know what is normal for that vehicle and what isn't. Your body's the same way. And it can make it a lot easier to pick up on the subtle intuitions that we're getting from spirit through our bodies if we are familiar with what is normal for our bodies, or what is, I mean, do you know how spirit, what sign spirit gives you in your physical body? Everybody's kind of different, but some of the sensations that I get, and I know that spirit is coming through, well, are one, goosebumps all of a sudden if I'm thinking or asking a question, goosebumps. I get kind of like a tingling feeling on the back of my neck. I also I can feel spirit coming in, and sometimes they'll tap my shoulder. It's usually my left side, but it's very subtle. And so the more that you're in your body, the more you're familiar with your body, the easier it is to pick up a lot of these subtle energies, because I do feel like spirit is coming through. Well, I don't think, I know spirit is coming through in a really powerful, strong way to connect with all of us. And for some people, well, first off, for all of us, they do speak to us through our bodies, some more than others, but your thoughts as well. So, and thoughts is another message that is coming up here. So really, listening to our bodies, making a point to connect with our bodies every day, making a point to check in with ourselves. How are we feeling? Making sure we're hydrated. Like, these are all the basics that we know to do, but it's really easy to kind of ignore some of these things. So tune into your body, ask your body, have a conversation with your body, ask it what it needs. Our body has its own, it has its own way of being. It has its own likes, it has its own dislikes that is separate from your spirit. So connect into your body. Just take some time. I mean, you should do this every day, but take some time, especially around this Friday, around the new moon, to just connect in and see if there's something missing, especially with trace minerals, with that copper energy. I just keep feeling there could be some trace minerals or something that we're missing there. The other thing that spirit was talking about was connecting with our light body, connecting with our auric field. And that's really like all of the information around us comes through our auric field and then into our bodies. So you can get a lot of information from nature, from just sounds that you're hearing. Nothing is a coincidence. And the more you tune into this, the more you'll start to notice how much spirit talks to you all the time, and how much nature talks to you all the time. And you may be getting answers to your questions and not even realizing it, because it's coming through nature, or it's coming through a conversation that somebody else is having and you're overhearing it, or it's coming through a physical sensation in your body. So that's why spirit, it's important. So pay attention to that. Another way I get a lot of messages too is from birds, listening to birds. I hear certain birds and they mean certain things. So tune into that. Just tune into the earth energy. That's the other thing that I felt really coming up with copper, is connecting with the earth and allowing the earth to help charge our bodies and power us up, which is really a good reminder for me, because I sometimes don't go outside as often as I should, and I rely way too much on sugar and caffeine to power me up. So, and I think a fun meditation to do, this is fun to do any time, but something that Metatron was bringing up is connecting into the ley lines of the planet, and allowing the energy from those ley lines to come and power you up and to bring you messages. So the planet is a sentient being, I believe, and she definitely is her own being, and she can give you information and healing, as well as the angelic realm. And I really feel like this is where that magenta color comes in really powerfully in balancing being in a physical body on this physical planet and gathering all of the information that we can get from that experience, as well as spiritual messages from the planet and from our physical bodies, and then also connecting into those higher realms and seeing what we can pull in from them as well. So I feel like we are just really surrounded by a lot of supportive beings, that are here to really help us, because it's a little nutty. I'm sure you guys have noticed that is a little crazy, and the waters are going to get choppier before they're going to get choppier before they're going to get smoother. So I feel like it's just really important to learn how to pull this information in, have discernment, connect with your guides, connect with the beings, here on the planet that can bring us healing and comfort as well. Because I mean, honestly, I feel like we need all the help that we can get. So be really open to that. So if you could take some time to, just have your skin touching the earth, and just imagine the ley lines throughout the planet, almost like blood vessels, bringing you energy. And this is pure energy from the earth. It's not, you're not pulling in everybody else's bullshit. You're pulling in pure energy from the earth, and just allow that energy to come up through your feet, come up through your hands, however you want to do that, and see if you can feel the earth charging you up and bringing you energy. I also feel like part of that, the trace minerals that we're missing, I feel like some of that we can get just from doing that, just from connecting with the earth and connecting to her ley lines. And ask the planet, let the planet know. And you don't have to physically speak it. You can think it, feel into it, and just ask her to send you some healing energy. Ask her to help move any pain out of your body. Ask her to help take that energy. So I think that's a really great way of releasing pain and toxicity from our body, sending that down into the planet, and then allowing the earth to recharge us. The new moon for me, I around the new moon, I release. If that just feels appropriate to me, that feels, the full moon to me feels like it's a ton of energy, and it's like swimming upstream. So I don't like to do a lot of releasing and healing around the full moon. So I think the new moon is a really great moon to release pain, release discomfort, and then welcome in healing and grounding. This particular moon, I'm really feeling bringing in that healing and grounding from the earth, which is good to do anytime, but it feels really well aspected on this new moon. So really connecting with the energy of magenta, connecting with that energy of copper, connecting with those trace minerals, connecting with the planet feels really important. Connecting with those ley lines, and then see if you can make this a part of your everyday practice, to allow the earth to bring you healing, to release into her. It's almost like Spirit is asking us to it's almost like she's like the second, so we've got our spirit guides, we've got source, God, whatever you want to call source, the universe. We have all of those high frequency beings, but the planet is a very high frequency being, and she's right here. We can touch her and feel her. And I think for some people that will be easier to tap into that kind of spiritual awareness, rather than maybe trying to get information from the higher realms if that feels too abstract. I feel like that's kind of the reason why Spirit's bringing that through it. And especially if you're just starting to work on your intuition, if you're just starting to kind of tap in and realize there's other beings and energies out there, it can feel kind of odd or abstract or hard to like sense or feel that energy, but the earth, it's a physical thing. You can touch it. It's tangible. That might be an easier way to connect in, and also to connect into your guides that way. So connecting into the planet. So that's like the first big energy that I'm feeling with this new moon in Cancer, is that magenta, copper, earth, healing and releasing, physical body, connecting to our physical body. Just want to see if there's anything else I want to say about that. So I've got my notes. Yeah, and not seeing ourselves as separate. And I think what I've really found is connecting with nature has been very helpful to me, especially when I don't feel like I can connect with others, or if I'm feeling super annoyed or irritated with people. Connecting with nature, it's just become like a friend. It's, connecting with the trees, connecting with the birds. I just have just a really peaceful connection, and that's something we all can have. And I think we all automatically feel that energy when we're out in nature. So especially if you're feeling very aggressive, that's another thing. So, well, we're not talking about the blue yet. We're going to talk about the blue in a second. So hopefully Spirit can bring that up. Sorry, sometimes that's okay. Let's move forward. So I just wanted to pull a couple of cards in regards to connecting with the earth. Is there anything else? Oh, this is fun. Okay, so the next time you're outside, I love to do this. And at first I thought, oh, this is just maybe kind of like a weird coincidence or whatever. But on a day where it's fairly calm, like there's not a lot of wind, it's a calm day, go outside, especially if you have trees. I've noticed that it helps to have trees around you. And what I like to do is just go out there, and it just in my mind, I'm like, hello universe, hello earth, hello trees, hello leaves. And a breeze will pick up, wind will pick up. And it's like the more I sit and talk to the planet, and the more I talk to the trees and the leaves, and I'm just saying hello, thanks for being here, the more the wind picks up. And it's like that's the universe and the trees saying hi back to me. It's almost like they're waving, saying hello. So try that. At first I thought this is just like a coincidence or a weird thing, but no, it isn't. And it comes in very handy on really hot days when you want a little bit of a breeze. So it's fun to call in the wind. I would think everybody can do that. Try it. It's pretty fun. And also, if you're really hot and you're outside and you need a breeze, call on the winds to bring a breeze to cool you down. Okay, so let's pull a couple of cards. I have the Light Seers Tarot I thought we could use. And I'll also just ask Spirit for some messages, but let's do 3 cards regarding connecting with the earth, connecting with nature, before we move on to the next energy. Oh my gosh, we got the Empress. Because I definitely feel, well, one, the Cancer energy is a very mothering, nurturing energy. It's a very kind and compassionate energy. It's very much, and Cancer energy itself is roots, home, your lineage, where you come from. It's also really just getting back to the basics, the priorities, prioritizing yourself, prioritizing, your family, your health, all of those things. So the cards that I got here, so we have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. So this is just a nod to step out of your daily routine, step out of the constant doing, and give yourself more time to just be quiet. And I'm sure I've brought this up in other videos that, Spirit, the way they talk to us is very subtle. So if you never freaking slow down and you never shut up or turn your brain off, it's gonna be really hard to hear them. And so yeah, stepping out of your routine or making nature more of your daily routine, getting outside. I know recently, I still kind of laugh at this. So I was asking my spirit team, like, how long should we be outside? Like, grounding, connecting, all of that. And they said, ideally, like 8 to 9 hours a day. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. But if you can do that, that was the advice that was given to me. But ask your spirit team and see what advice they give you as far as how much time you should be outside. And they were like outside, like physically touching the ground. So bare feet, if you can do that. The way we're insulated, and you can go down a rabbit hole and check into this yourself, but the way our shoes insulate us, the synthetic fabrics that we wear, it holds a lot of static electricity in our body. That creates a lot of inflammation and can cause a lot of other problems. So, and you can just Google that. The other card I got, which I think is so perfect, and maybe that's why I picked this deck, we have the Empress. And noticed the earth there, so a nod to Mama Gaia, but how the planet can be very nurturing and is a mother to us. She brings us a lot of healing, a lot of blessings, but we often ignore her, overlook her. We don't see her as the divine mother that she is. She is a divine being. She does provide health and healing, and for some, well, for all of us, but for some it will be easier to tap into that divine energy through the earth because it's the tangible thing. You know, it's real. You can feel her, you can touch her, you can see her. So yeah, seeing the earth as, oh look, and we've got a moon up there too, but seeing the earth as a divine energy and a mothering energy, and allowing her to mother you and cocoon you. Yeah, she's saying you can think of me as like the high priestess energy. She holds that energy as well. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing energy. So connecting into her. And then we have the two of Pentacles in reverse coming up here. So this is just, well, one, we're working with the energy of two. The numerology of this Friday, July 5th, 2024 is a 20, if I know how to add. If I didn't, we're going with it anyway. It's the energy of 20, and so 2 is a part of that. So finding that balance, finding harmony, finding where we're kind of off, where our priorities might be a little out of whack physically. So because we're looking mostly at the physical energy, our physical bodies, and then our mental awareness and our thinking. We're going to move into that next. So just want to see. Yeah, and I wrote down, the more tuned into our bodies, the easier it is to tune into spirit, which is really true. And I think the other part of that too is when you are aware of how you are in your body, how your spirit is in your body, how you're feeling in your body, you're being very present. And you have to be present to tune into spirit. So okay. So that feels really good. So the first big energy is physical energy, physical healing, connecting with the earth. Oh, the other thing, good thing I write things down because I forget. The other energy that I felt coming in really strong along with this copper and this magenta is the green ray. So the green ray coming in for trust, harmony, and spaciousness. And I love that. Creating space around ourselves is important. Having room to breathe, feeling like you can allow your energy to expand. So calling in the green ray. The green ray are heavenly realms. They come from high dimensions to bring us healing, to bring us comfort. So call in the green ray as well for trust, harmony, and spaciousness. Also lime green, I feel would be fantastic for this. Fantastic anytime, but I am feeling that energy for this new moon, which is joy and optimism and expecting positive outcomes, and letting go of old tired patterns. And I feel like if the one thing you do take away from this new moon is that's what we're being asked to step in closer to, and release is old tired patterns. So taking a look at regarding your physical health, what are some really old patterns that you'd like to break out of, and set that as something to work on. Create a habit around that. Just one thing. So think of one thing that you want to break out of with your physical health, your physical way of being. And Spirit is really wanting us to look at the things that we have been doing for a very long time that are not serving at all. So see if you can get very honest with yourself about what that might be for you regarding your physical well-being. That feels really important. Let's see, what else did I do really feel like the energy of this new moon is really helping us to, it's going to bring up themes around old tired patterns that hold us down, keep us small, make us sick, all of that. And I'm really feeling the expecting positive outcomes. It's really important for us to be our own cheerleaders and to really cheer ourselves on, because the world sucks sometimes, you know? And it's not so much the world, it's people. So be your own cheerleader and expect positive outcomes. No matter what's going on in the world, no matter what, there's always going to be chaos. And like I said, that's going to get worse before it gets better. So I just really feel like it's important to, these are basic things: connecting with the earth, connecting with yourself, expecting positive things, and being your own cheerleader and helping yourself out of patterns that are keeping you small. So let's move on to the next energy, which is connected to the blue ray. So you can think of pale blue, royal blue, both of those colors are coming in. And the blue ray in this, so before I forget, this is another fun thing to do. So imagine the planet, I do this a lot. Imagine the planet being surrounded with the blue ray. Just imagine, and if you have like a little globe or even a sphere, you can hold and pretend like it's the earth, and imagine a blue ray going around the whole planet. That blue ray calls in calm, serenity, peace, but cooling. So if you are somewhere and it's really hot and you want to physically cool your body, energy is real, call in the blue ray. Imagine a blue ray coming in and surrounding your body. Breathe in that blue ray. That will help to cool your body down. These are fun little things you can try, and just, you're playing with energy. But it cools down your physical body. Blue helps to calm down aggressiveness. I remember I had a teacher tell me once, imagine, so if you're dealing with like an unruly child or just an ass of a adult human that's being very aggressive, imagine putting a cool blue towel over them. And just imagine that. Imagine placing that over them, and it softens them. It soothes them. It cools them down. And it really does work. And this is energetic. I'm not saying take an actual, I mean, you can do that if you want to. I don't know if that would help matters. But imagine putting a cool blue towel over someone's head when they're being aggressive. Just imagine that happening. It does soften their energy. But the blue ray, it brings in that cooling, it brings in the calm, it brings in peace, it helps to relieve inflammation. And I kind of just feel like the whole planet is inflamed, we're inflamed, going back to that, all of the static buildup in our body. Calling in that blue ray brings in a lot of that cool energy. Blue is also that mothering, nurturing energy, very similar to Cancer energy. And this energy is it's less about action and more about thoughts, feelings, and expression through words and art. So that's the second energy coming in. So we have the actual physical body. Now we're moving into thoughts. Our thoughts, our thinking, our expression, and feeling and expressing our expressing our feelings through words and through art. The other interesting thing that was coming through is trusting that the timing is always perfect. Trusting that where you are is where you're meant to be, because it is. And just trusting that there's enough time to do all that you need to do, without being rushed. That's something that I call in for myself all the time, because I constantly feel like I'm being rushed. So I just ask that I have enough time to do the things that I want to do, and also to do the things that need to be done without being rushed. I hate being rushed. It's the worst thing ever. It also makes me super ornery. So we have enough time. I just want to make, okay. I thought my mic fell off, and I don't want to do this video again. The other thing I was really feeling with this new moon is it feels like taking time. It's a solo energy. I really feel like spending some time by yourself on this new moon, either the day before the new moon or even the day after, carving out some time just for you to connect, for you to maybe apply or try one of these energy practices or whatever type of ceremony you'd like to set up for yourself. Carve out some time just for you. It does feel really important to have some solo time around this new moon to connect with yourself. And it feels very, that high priestess energy. If you're familiar with the high priestess in the tarot, it's, being in a solitude, quiet place, connecting with yourself, connecting with your wisdom, your body's wisdom, and the wisdom of the higher realms, the wisdom of the planet, is connecting in with all of that and seeing what information you can pull from that. So I feel like that would be a really good practice to do for this new moon. The other thing I want to bring up, and then we can pull some cards, that feels very, very important, is the throat chakra. So the blue color, it activates the throat chakra, taking responsibility for our words. So that was something that Spirit was bringing up, that it's really important that we take responsibility for our words. Our words are very powerful. And whether you believe in energy or not, it doesn't really matter, because energy is real, and your words literally create worlds of energy. And the more words and thoughts that you put into something, you literally are creating worlds. We are creators. When you think of God, or you think of Source, I refer to God as Source. When I think of Source is the creator of all things. Source is a creator of us. We are made in the image of that creator, which means we are a creator, and we are just as powerful. And I don't think we really stop to think about that or what that even means. But something that Source reminds me a lot of is you're creating worlds. worlds within your world with the words that you are saying. So what are you freaking creating? So that's something to think about too. So if we were able to see all of the energy around us, we would start to see these thought forms all over us, and then everybody else's thought forms. But let's just focus on our own. What would those what kind of energy do you think your thoughts and words create? I mean, when you stop to think about that, if you could see just like in front of you your thoughts and words reflecting back to you, like, and they continue to make their own energy, keeps going, it keeps building. um so if you're thinking of these negative thoughts or thoughts and words or mean thoughts and words, you can't, they're there. Once they're thought or said, they're there and they keep building on each other. So just what kind of, I, in my mind, I often, when I'm being very negative, what I start to see is kind of like a thorny, kind of like viney wall that starts to create. And then even when I stop saying those words or thinking those things, it's still creating and it's still building on itself. And I start to see like this thorny barrier coming up around me. And I feel like we all do that. Well, I know we all do that, whether or not you can visualize that or see that or not. So, but we're doing it. So it's like we're creating these blocks and barriers that truly are energetic blocks and barriers in our way, but we're doing it with our thoughts and our words, and we're not even necessarily, a lot of people aren't even conscious that they're doing that. So the way you can start to break that down is, one, by stopping those repeating patterns. And I think when Spirit was talking about those old tired patterns, a lot of those are thoughts that we just constantly are thinking, constant. Stop thinking those and bring in something else. Bring in, the opposite of that energy, or whatever loving thought you want to have towards yourself or towards somebody else. Your thoughts and words that you say towards other people, they also create barriers around you. You're not, those are blocks too. So I think when Spirit was saying, taking responsibility for our words, that's really important, and it's going to be very highlighted. I feel like this whole month of July, that feels very highlighted. This whole Cancer season, that feels very highlighted, but particularly around this new moon. And I think that if we can start making it a habit and a priority to check in with our physical bodies and to check in with our mind and see, because it's all linked. Check in with ourselves and see, what are we thinking. It's all linked together. We can become happier, healthier people. So really pay attention to what you're thinking and also what you are feeling. I think another fun thing to do, if you wanted to create a practice around creating something beautiful with your words, whether that's a poem, a story, something artistic, maybe you could even paint or draw or sketch. What do you think your negative words are? What worlds are they creating? And then do the opposite and create, what do you think your positive words, what kind of worlds are those creating around you? I think that might be a fun exercise, just to kind of tap in and see if you can, pull some of that out of you, so you can have like something physical to look at to remind you, this is the negative, this is what those negative worlds around me look like, this is what the positive ones look like. That might be fun. It might be fun just to see what you get with that, especially if you are, well, we're all creative, so I like, in my mind, I don't know why I do this, but I think you're not like in, this is me thinking my thoughts. I think, Heather, you're not a creative person because you can't draw. So we're all creative, but that's my own stupid block. So it might be fun to do, yeah, just a creative art project. The other thing too with art and creation, well, one, we're all creators, right? So think of that. So when you're creating, you're connecting with source, you're connecting source God, but it's that same channel, it's that same energetic channel that you connect with your guides, and you connect with, it's not even the other side, you connect with spirit. So it's good to tap into that energy and strengthen that channel, because it's a muscle. These energetic channels are muscles. The more we use them, the stronger they get. So I think that would be a lot of fun. Oh, and I'll pull some other cards too. So the other thing that Metatron was bringing up is it's important to balance all of our thinking, feeling energy with thoughtful action. So being very intentional, and we know it's important to be intentional. The more intentional you can be with everything, the more happy and fulfilled your life will be. I know that. I haven't always known that, but I definitely know that to be very true. So it's important to balance our thinking and feeling energy with thoughtful action. So to take action, what is an action you could take to prioritize your health, or to prioritize a healthier mental way of being? So being very intentional with our action and taking action, and not just doing just to do something. Why are you doing what you're doing, and questioning why you do some of the things you do. So I don't know if I did a video on this or not, but I have a little notebook. I did it for 30 days. I now just occasionally do it, but I wrote down I constantly was just writing down my thoughts, all of my negative thoughts. And then my negative thoughts it led me into, why do I do certain things that I do? And that opened up a lot of insight. So pay attention to what you're thinking, but also pay attention to, why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you do the things that you do? It brought in a lot of insight, and only you can get that insight. So very interesting. And the other thing that I noticed was how often I do things and I don't even know why I'm doing them. Like, they're not necessarily helpful. It's interesting. So question yourself. You'll learn stuff about you by doing that. So let's see. Let's go ahead and just pull a couple of cards here in regards to throat chakra, thinking, thoughts, feelings, the blue ray, spirit, whatever you'd like to bring up around mothering, cooling. Maybe if you're just feeling really stressed out, or you're feeling really angry before you respond, imagine the blue ray surrounding you. That might be a really helpful practice too. So let's pull a couple of cards. What do we have here? Let's do one more. So I've got two here. Let's do one more. And thanks so much for being here. And if you found this video helpful, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. Oh, interesting. Okay. So we have the Page of Swords. I feel like this is just, again, speaking to the thoughtful action, being intentional with our action, and taking action that's going to bring us long-term joy and happiness, and things that are going to benefit us in the long run, they're also talking about being very intentional by, what we are consuming, like with our eyes and our ears, what we're listening to, what we're watching. And when we are starting to feel really overwhelmed, to take time out for joyful action, making it a priority to do things that we really enjoy and love, and we're doing it, and we like a hobby or crafts or something that brings you happiness and joy, it brings you peace, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not something that you have to do. You're doing it because you want to do it. I think it's really important to create space for that, because it's if you're talking about energy, and you're talking about energy flow, and you're talking about giving and giving energy and receiving energy, that is a way that you give to yourself, is carving out time for doing things that you enjoy and you love, and it's not a waste of time, because it's bringing you happiness and joy, and it's important for our well-being. I think that there would be way less aggressive people in the world if they all took time to, one, find out what brings them happiness and joy. And this is something that you're doing by yourself. You can do it with other people, but this is something, a gift that you give to you, that is just you. I think that I just think people in general would be so much happier if they did that. I think it's really important. I haven't always done that, because I felt like creating that type of space felt like a waste of time. And it is not a waste of time. Do it. It's very helpful. The next card we have the Six of Pentacles. And this, for me, is really talking about that energetic exchange that I was just talking about. That's how you give back to yourself and you replenish your energy, is by carving out this time to do something that just brings you a lot of joy. Even if it's just 30 minutes, a week, you find that time, or if it's 10 minutes just sitting outside, but making that a part of your daily, rituals. The third card we have is the Queen of Swords, which goes right along what we've been talking about, which is becoming a master of your mind, becoming and understanding how your thoughts and words create worlds, these energetic worlds. So really just becoming a master of your mind, of your thoughts, what you are thinking, and noticing how much what you are thinking impacts how you are feeling. So that feels really beautiful. I think we already talked about this. Two relates to partners, cooperation, and balance, finding harmony and common ground, but also finding harmony and common ground with yourself. And I feel like finding that common ground kind of comes into that making time for that joyful action. I feel like that's really important. And that's finding that common ground for yourself. It's really easy to prioritize, work because we need money, prioritizing taking care of kids because they need help, taking care of our pets. These are all things that we have to do. And so then on the back burner are the hobbies and joys that we don't have to do them for survival. So I think that it's really easy to put them on the back burner, but actually I feel like the more we go forward, we do need those for our survival. I think it's almost imperative to have simple joys that bring you just a lot of happiness and peace. Even if that's just freaking coloring. You're working with color. Your coloring is the way to shut out the world. You're tuning things out, and it's healthy. It's not damaging your body. It's not damaging your mind. I think that's really important. Let's see. Is there anything else that I wanted to say? The other thing interesting that came up, if you watched the Cancer season zodiac readings that I did, For Cancer, the crystal that came through was Moonstone, which I'm really feeling that Moonstone energy here for this new moon, which is interesting because most people work with Moonstone for the full moon. But I feel like that Moonstone energy for this entire month of July is going to be very helpful. It brings in the energy of celebration, gratitude for yourself, celebrating how far you've come. I feel like it's really important to take time to give yourself a pat on the back. Again, be your own cheerleader. I think that's really important. Moonstone energy, just it feels like a really and it is, it's a soft, really nurturing energy. I think that that is going to be very helpful for all of us. The color that came through for Cancer was white, and I pulled, when I was pulling cards the other day for just tapping into the energy of this new moon, the color white, it says purity and innocence came in. But what I feel with this white energy is it's an opportunity, this new moon, to clear the slate, to clear something off of your path. And again, something that has been nagging you. I'm hearing right now forgiveness. This new moon is an opportunity to forgive yourself for something that you've really been holding on to. So is there something that's just been weighing you down that you've been carrying with you? This new moon, write it down, burn it, say it, whatever you need to do to release that and forgive yourself for whatever that is that you've been dragging along with you. So I'm really feeling that with that white ray, a lot of forgiveness for yourself. So maybe take a look at that and see if that could be helpful for you. The other thing, and I'm not going to get into this too much, but ancestors, connecting in with your ancestors. I know I've said this in another video a while back, that it almost feels like fall energy, even though we're like at the height of summer, like we just got into summer. But connecting in with your ancestors, and this might go into that forgiveness part too, and this could be a kind of a deeper subject, but is there an energy of something that you're carrying with you that isn't necessarily yours, but maybe was passed along the family line? Is there a guilt or a burden or something that you are ashamed of, or an embarrassment on the family? Is there an energy around that you could look at, and see if you can unravel that and begin to release that? I feel like there's a lot of baggage from, and this goes into, epigenetics. I have a hard time saying that word. And that is energy that we come in with that isn't ours. We didn't do the thing, but it's an energy and an impression that is left in our genes that we bring in. So that could be a part of that too. That's probably something that will come up more and more as we move forward. But just going to touch on that really briefly because I don't want this video to be too long. But it's hard for me to do really short videos and like get all this out. So the other thing I wanted to mention were, so crystals that you can work with. So we talked about Moonstone. Another one that would be really great is Selenite. Super great at clearing your space, clearing cords. You could take a Selenite wand and just like wave it over your body to help clear your energy, especially if you don't like to use sage or smoke. I love to use smoke to clear my energy, but you could use a Selenite wand. I use that to clear my cats because they don't necessarily like it when I like run after them with flaming smoky things. So use selenite. The other thing too, to connect in with that green energy, is Moldavite. I think Moldavite would be fantastic to work with this new moon. Moldavite is all about helping you get to your authentic self, your spiritual growth, your progression. It helps to kind of tear down some of those barriers and walls and get to that really raw, authentic part of you. So Moldavite would be great to work with, and also it brings in that green ray. So that feels really beautiful. I think I will leave it there. So see if you can come up with some type of, you know, simple ceremony you could do for yourself to give back to yourself. It's just that really nice energetic exchange. I just want to see if there's anything else that Spirit would like to talk about. So they're bringing up the energy of worry. Stop it. So if you are feeling very worried, you are thinking the wrong thoughts. If you are feeling very worried, you're not being present. If you're having a lot of anxiety, you're not being present. And this is what they're talking about with the really taking care of yourself, making your body a priority and making your mind a priority. Really watching when you are feeling worried and fearful, you're not standing in your power. So, okay. It's funny because they just said, and that's all for now because I'm hungry and I'm going to go and have some food. And I don't know. I'd love to hear what ceremonies or what did you do for yourself this new moon, or what are you planning on doing for yourself? Ceremonies, whatever. I get really inspired by other people, so please share with me. I would really appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, you guys, and happy new moon.